Hello everyone, my name is Steven Zapata. I'm a concept artist, illustrator, online art teacher, and former instructor at Art Center College of Design. I would like to introduce you to my new drawing course, Form from Imagination, a course designed to help you draw with confidence from your mind. Maybe you want to be a professional illustrator or designer, maybe you want to be a master with a pencil, or maybe you just want to be the best artist that you can be. Beautiful goals. But it's not always clear how to improve the work that you do from imagination. Over the past 6 months, I've taken all of the little eurekas, tips, and essential exercises that gave me confidence drawing from my mind and compiled them into a sequential course. We start with the absolute foundations, covering the scientific nature of light and shadow, how to hatch, how to create flat tones, how to render spheres and cubes, and step by step, we move through combined shapes, complex shapes, organic shapes. We cover how to simplify extremely complex subjects like the head into basic shapes so that you can handle them more easily from your head. We look at how to understand and treat details. And by the end of these 14 chapters with over 50 video lessons, you'll be ready to do complex designs from your mind with fidelity and energy. And all the demos are done in pencil on paper, so you can do all of the assignments even if you don't have a fancy digital art setup. But I also have demos, instructions, and modifications to the assignments for those who do want to do them digitally. Here's how it works. Go to formfromimagination.com and sign up for the course. Download the assignment book and start watching the lectures. Do the assignments at your own pace. Take your time with them and use this self-study to develop your patience. When you're done, post your assignments in the exclusive community hub, and I'll personally critique your work with drawovers, diagrams, and advice. I want you to know, this course is no joke just because it's online. It is challenging content, and it is more complete than it would be if I was teaching this class at an art college as I have before. If I was teaching this class in person at Art Center today, I would just play these videos in class, knowing full well that they're the most concise, focused, edited, step-by-step way to convey the material. So I'm serious when I say, this course isn't just a substitute for a college-level course, it's better than a college-level course. And you don't have to pay thousands of dollars per credit and wind up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. So thank you for checking out the course, thank you for watching this and for your support, and thank you for drawing and making your artwork. The world needs it. I'll see you soon. First AI class action was filed, baby. Oh my goodness. There it goes. There it goes. We are off to the races. Off to the races, my dear friends. I did try to tell you, despair not. Don't be so nihilistic. Don't give in so quickly. Once you see the wider picture, a lot of people disagree with what they're doing, the sheer number of industries that it will affect. And again, yes, once you start poking around and talking to people who aren't giving up and professionals and things like that, the case, there's a lot there. And there's really just no reason to be nihilistic. There is no reason to be nihilistic. Yes. How was Thyrandor? So I can put a link in the chat, but a lot of you have probably already caught this in the news, but it's just officially been filed and things like that. There you go, check it out. GitHub Copilot litigation.com. This was filed, I believe, yesterday in the evening. It is the first to quote from the landing page on the site. As far as we know, this is the first class action case in the US challenging the training and output of AI systems. It will not be the last. AI systems are not exempt from the law. Amen to, I believe this is a law firm called Joseph Saveri Law Firm with Matthew Buderick they're bringing it. They are bringing it. So this is the first one. As they say, I believe them, there will be more. And They are, GitHub had this product, GitHub Copilot. It is regurgitating code that it collected from these questionable licenses of code that was added to GitHub. Is it one-to-one? Different industry? No, but it is. It's all extremely relevant. I think that should be obvious to everybody. And the impacts here are going to impact all industries. Get the word out there, you know, support just with your spirit. And more stuff like this is gonna come. More stuff like this is gonna come. It's coming. Let me, I'll pull it up on my screen over here. Let's just read for a moment. Hello, this is Matthew Buderick. On October 17th, I told you that I had teamed up with the amazingly excellent class action litigators Joseph Severi, Cadio Zerpoli, and Travis Manfredi at the Joseph Severi law firm to investigate GitHub Copilot. Today, we filed a class action lawsuit in U.S. federal court in San Francisco, California, on behalf of a proposed class of possibly millions of GitHub users. We are challenging the legality of GitHub Copilot and a related product, OpenAI Codex, which powers Copilot. The suit has been filed against the set of defendants that includes GitHub, Microsoft, and OpenAI. By training their AI systems on public GitHub repositories, though based on their public statements, possibly much more, we contend that the defendants have violated the legal rights of a vast number of creators who posted code or other work under certain open source licenses on GitHub. Which licenses? A set of 11 popular open source licenses that all require attribution of the author's name and copyright, including the MIT license, the GPL, and the Apache license. I have not gone in and read the whole complaint. I did read a little bit, tried to skim through the beginning few pages there, but there's a lot to read. Go check it out if you're interested and you want to get more details on things that are relevant here. But great news as far as I'm concerned. Great news as far as I'm concerned. Lovely. Where's my glove here? How are we doing today? Wonderful. Wonderful. Brap says resistance is assistance. AI thrives on your attention, but who wants to hear that? No, man, that's all just narrative making, just making stuff up, trying to find reasons to give up. It's like, there's a reality, there's a real world, and there's things to be done. There really is things to be done. And society, culture, and history are built on litigating things like this and learning about things like this and finding out where things are going to shake out. It obviously should be dealt with for real, in the real way. It should go down for real. Doesn't mean I know how it's going to shake out, but it's like, it's crazy to dismiss it or to try to find some reason to just let them get away with this completely for no reason. Don't be nuts. Could I get a quick TLDR? I just joined a law firm called Joseph Severi Law Firm, along with Matthew Buderick, has filed the first, it seems, class action in the United States challenging the training and output of AI systems. As they say on their filing, and I agree with them, it will not be the last. AI systems are not exempt from the law, and the people who are doing these things should be held accountable. And it's just like everyone who's going to be like, no, you don't get it, you know, you're not supposed to resist, it only gives them energy, or this has nothing to do with art. It's like, that's not what the lawyers are saying. It's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting. What up, what up? Hello to Rave Drag Neil. Hello to Max is real. A distinction should be made that this is about programming AI generators, not AI art generators. Yeah, indeed. But it, like you said, it's about the relevance. It's like all of these things are going to go down at some point, you know? The thing is that there's no case law for this stuff, and the established laws did not predict machine learning algorithms that vacuum up big data. It's like, that's not what all of our copyright laws, fair use, they weren't predicting any of that. It's like, but it is all going to become relevant, and anything that deals with AI and training models and what's ethical in training models is going to, they're all going to inform each other, and this case law is going to be built up over time. It is absolutely relevant. It's going down. My head is in a different orientation today because I was recording an interview yesterday and I did not reposition my webcam. So if I wind up clipping awkwardly or anything like that, just bear with me. This is not my usual setup. Definitely a good day in the news. I'm listening to crappy stock pop music to get the pump. Louis says, I've always wondered, how legal is it for an individual artist to photobash using other artists' work? I've heard the photobashing stuff be brought up a lot in the AI conversation. And I think that there's a lot of misunderstanding about it and a lot of things being said about it that are coming from people who've never worked the job. They act like photo bashing is just, we've all accepted it, it's all good and there's no problems and things like that. It's like, you've never worked the job, clearly. When you're on the job, at least in studio where you have oversight, all the jobs that I've worked like that, the legal departments really care what photos you use and what assets you put directly into the work. And for a lot of them, and also freelance jobs, you need to disclose all of the photos that you used, and they need to make sure that the licenses line up and that it's going to be above board for them. I've worked at studios where every picture that I put out that was going to ship, it didn't just need to get signed off on by my art director, it needed to be signed off on by the legal team at the studio. They needed to look at the images, and I had to disclose everything that I used. And there's also been cases where it's like, I don't even get to choose what I use. The legal team's already said, when you make the pictures, we own these photo sets, we've cleared the licenses with them, we know they are okay to use. And that was the only photos I could use. And if I wanted to bring on something else, I had to clear it with them. It's like, it is way more sophisticated and legally concerned than it seems most people realize. And again, I think that's just because they've never worked the job. People seem to have a false impression of how photobashing works in reality. Rodolfo says, hello, Steve. I like that you apply critical thinking to these problems. You are empathic and you are not soft or indifferent. Oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, it's art. I love art. I would hope I'm not indifferent. I really care about this stuff, and I try to be as thoughtful about it as I can bear to be. And like I've said, it's like, there's nothing weird or stupid or dumb or strange about looking at this situation and seeing that something's very odd and should be investigated. There's nothing strange about that. I think what's strange is just the vibe that is going on elsewhere, where people are just like, yeah, I give up, whatever. You know, I'm so beaten down by life and the difficulty of making art, and just so cynical about what can happen in the world, that they're like, no, you can't, you know. There's nothing you can do. You just got to give in and just let them do whatever they want, because they're always going to do whatever they want. The lawyers don't think that way. They don't think that way. Again, for anybody who's just joining us, Matthew Buderick has joined up with Joseph Saveri Law Firm and is bringing the first class action against AIs in the United States. Yep, they don't think that way. They think there's something there too. Get pumped. You don't have to give up. You don't need to roll over. Do you need a graphics card to run art softwares? I want to get into digital art, but I don't have a PC and money to afford a good one. I'm planning on buying a cheap laptop. You mean if you got like a laptop that only has like an onboard like Intel Iris graphics or something like that? You can do basic Photoshop stuff with that. It's not going to run great. You're not going to be able to do like huge files or anything like that, but you can definitely use Photoshop and make basic digital art. You know, you just got to keep the layers minimal, not do huge resolutions, but a graphics card would be immensely helpful. It would be immensely helpful. I mean, you know, they're still, even though it's just 2D images, they're still pretty graphics intensive processes, and you know, things like Photoshop especially are getting a little bloated these days. You know, it has a lot of let's be charitable and call it legacy code. It's like Photoshop is not super well optimized, so whatever power you can have going on under the hood, it'll help. It's good news, but we shouldn't get all hyped until there is a verdict in favor of art. This is just the first step. Indeed, but I would actually say we should get hyped, not for, again, these things are super complicated. So it's like, if we're being perfectly honest here, I think we should all be clear that like, this is gonna be a crazy thing to take to court. No one can predict what's gonna happen here. There's a lot of gray areas. It's extremely confusing. We don't know what's gonna happen once this stuff gets into court. Things could not go our way for sure. But I think that we should get hyped on the level of seeing that there's something to be done, and that artists are really, they're giving up right now. They're really like not into pushing back or thinking that anything's possible. So I think that we should get hyped to see that lawyers and professionals and things like that are actually, they also think there's something weird about this, and that it needs to be questioned and litigated how they acquire data sets, what they do with data sets. Just because something is released on an open source license, do they just have carte blanche to turn it into these commercial products with no oversight? Like, we should be hyped in that regard. I think that's important, because right now, the overall vibe of the artistic community is not standing up for yourself or defending yourself or feeling optimistic. It's depression and being upset. So I think in that regard, we should be hyped. I watched the concept art town hall, and even the copyright office was like, I don't know, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's like, so a lot of the discussions, discussions. We're being very charitable when we call these things discussions. Let's face it, a lot of it is people angrily yelling at each other online, right? A lot of the discussions are being extremely dismissive, right? When you're talking to someone who's pro AI or machine learning or pro any of these programs, the vibe is they want you to dismiss. They're like, give up yesterday. Don't talk about this. Don't worry about this. Give in, acquiesce. It's going to go this way. And that's where the good news comes from. That on the highest level, the professionals are like, that I don't know. Coming from that environ means we need to look at this extremely closely. It is not clear. There's something that needs to be figured out here. So, it's very, very good in that regard. It really should, for everybody who's getting tricked by the people who are yelling that kind of stuff at you, it's like, it should really make you feel good that the pros actually don't agree with this. This is already figured out. There's nothing to fight here. It's like, no, there is. There is. Theodora says, you know, as a fine artist, people tell me that my work should be for the world. And oh, why ask for money? It's made to share. That's really strange. I mean, I think a lot of people still believe that most artists are like privileged rich kids who are artists because they don't have to do anything else because they come from wealth. And that's always going to be true for some artists, but I think that just comes from a lack of exposure to the industry. I mean, they just haven't met enough artists who are not that, you know, which I think there's, because art has become so much more accessible in the past years, and it's easier to learn and easier to get into, there's tons of artists who are not that. So when you're not that, when you're someone who needs to put food on the table, it's like, it's perfectly, there's nothing weird about asking money for a skill that you have, right? And again, it's a skill. I think there's also a lot of bad work being done in that argument with, from the bad ideas around talent. People still misperceive talent. They think that art is just like you're born good at it or something. And people just don't understand in general on a wider scope that actually most professional artists that you meet, maybe they had some talent at the beginning, but it's not what's contributing to their overall ability to make art for a living or to do it for their whole lives. It's like you need to be really dedicated and you need to sacrifice a lot and you need to develop your skills insanely far, even if you start with a considerable bit of talent. And I just think that, you know, we who are in the art world, we understand that, but not everybody else has caught up. It's like most people don't understand how good you can get from a totally bad start, from just being someone that people would identify as having no talent. I mean, my God, I mean, I know for me personally, holy crap, was I really just bad. Really, really bad. And for a long time, I mean, I wasn't really, I was not someone you would identify as having a promising future in drawing, you know, even at 18, you know. I think most of my work and my sketchbooks and all that, you'd look at it and you'd be like, yeah, you know, you'll find something out there. I mean, I think it's great news. It relieves me so much to hear things like this and to get news like this. Dodd, do you still have your old work? Yeah, I mean it's in like boxes at in my mom's basement and stuff like that. It's around. I mean, I did not start from a good position. You know, I was definitely, a lot of us go through a youthful period where we're LOL bad, and I was definitely LOL bad. I'm also not a fast learner. I think I'm a good learner. I'm very thoughtful and pretty critically minded, and that was extremely valuable to me in my learning process. But even though I was thoughtful, I've never been a fast learner. I was a slow learner. So even though I was parsing things through and being very thoughtful and reaching conclusions and things like that, it always took me a very long time for that to reflect in my work, which is not the case for everybody. Some people, they're fast learners. They hear a concept, they arrive at a concept, and then they can integrate it quickly. I never had that. I was a very slow learner. That is to say, I'm still a slow learner. It still takes me very long, very, very long to onboard new things that I learn. Spooky guy number from the Too many people are also telling artists to get a real job since AI will devalue their work. Yeah, I mean, they just don't get it. It's not about jobs. I mean, we do art because we have to. There's so many other reasons to make artwork than jobs. I mean, God, who can even? It's very rare to be able to pull that down, but it's like, for us artists, it is an existential question. It is like a why am I here kind of a question. It's like I have this urge deep down inside to manifest imaginary realities from my mind, through my body, through my efforts to enter a relationship with this storied and long craft that doesn't just produce products but transforms an individual in the process. It's like the reasons we really do art are about as mushy as you could ask for, you know? It's not something to give up on lightly. And artists can't. They can't give up on it lightly. As if you could just get a real job. It's like, it's really brushing under the rug the significant amount of human turmoil that's going to be involved in that. And real suffering, you know? Artists are very sensitive. Like the infamous Chet Zar says, we only monetize it because we have to. Hello from Buryatya. Hello. Hello from New York. Sorry if I mispronounced your location's pronunciation. Interesting times, my friends. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. How big is this file? What is this? You draw on one layer, that's awesome. A lot of the time, when I'm doing quick sketches like this, yeah. But I mean, if I was doing something for work or anything like that, I would use as many layers as I need to. I don't think layers is a good thing to get like a neurotic about or like a art boot campy about. It's like not using a lot of layers tends to hurt digital paintings, not help them for the most part. They make it much easier to keep things clean, digital, which is a thing digital actually surprisingly has a problem with, which is a bit counterintuitive. You know, there's so much more precision with traditional tools that I find traditional, I personally find it easier to stay clean traditionally. It's like digital is still relatively crude. It can get real muddy and real mushy real fast. Can we find your old work somewhere? Maybe you could do some of your bad art review. It could be really beneficial for some new artists to see where you were starting, I think. Next time I am looking, next time I'm like down in the archives and I find a sketchbook from when I was like 18, I'll pocket it so I can show you all. I mean, it's bad in the really bad way, where it's like it's so bad and it's not just bad, it's uninteresting. I mean, it just looks like really crude, bad drawings. You know what I mean? Just like it's like there was no great promise there, and it's just no interesting ideas, nothing, you know. It's really, I'm not sure you guys would get a kick out of it. The only kick would be just oh well, wow, he really got much better. And it's like, well, yeah, you know, a lot of time, huge amount of time. No such thing as a bad drawing. I would never call someone else's drawing bad, but I'll call my drawings bad. I keep looking at where my webcam usually is. I'm so used to looking off to the side instead of straight ahead. Imagine seeing young Steven's bad art review and yours is exactly like it. That just means that there is great potential. I mean, I really do believe, I do truly believe that it's true that it may take different amounts of time and it may require a considerable amount of good luck so that you don't go homeless or get hit by a bus before you have the time to do it. But I really do believe any level of artistic ability is on the table for any individual. You know, in the broad sense, when I say artistic ability, I mean like the ability to communicate your internality with fluency in a way that connects with others. I don't just mean like, can you draw hands real good? I mean, in the broad sense, that ability to use your art effectively and to have it be really compelling, I think that's on the table for absolutely everybody, no matter their starting point. I just see no reason why that wouldn't be the case. I've seen tons of people make that journey. Eric Williams with the 10R? Are those rupees? I'm not sure. I think we artists shouldn't take ourselves for granted. People are still impressed by human talent, skills. I think showing the process will become more and more valuable. Love your work, Steven. Thank you so much, Eric William. I really appreciate it, and I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, we should not, no, we shouldn't take art for granted, and we shouldn't take the creative impulse for granted, and we should honor our desire to do it, always, I think. It's good for you. You'll go crazy if you feel yourself to be a creative person at heart and you don't go for it. You don't be creative. You don't make art. You need to do it. Hi, Steven. Do you have any advice for students of art who are currently feeling insecure from all the uncertainty brought forth by AI? First off, I'd say, because maybe you're not getting this elsewhere, I want to honor your feelings of discomfiture. I mean, the world is changing. Technology is crazy. We're really getting hit head on by this thing. I totally understand the worries and the pain there. So my heart goes out to you. I would be having a very hard time if I was in my school years right now. But there is no... Art is so broad, and the reasons that an artistic person does art are unbelievably broad. So whatever you're insecure about now is not going to be the end-all be-all of your artistic pursuits. We go through different phases in life. Right now, maybe you're in school, you're training up, and your main focus is on being able to make a life with it. That is to say, a monetary life, financial concerns. Can I get a job? Maybe that includes place in the world and status stuff. Like, I want the title of artist. I want people to know that I made it as a professional artist. It's like, that is a phase for almost all artists. You're not the kind of person who just wants that. If you're on this artistic journey, you are someone who is interested in acts of becoming and acts of creativity. You want to create a career. You want to become something different. Once you achieve those goals, you're just going to have new ones. You're going to want to become a different thing. You're going to want to move and slide and transform again, at least for a lot of artists. So we don't know what's going to happen here. And all of the other reasons there are to make art, for example, honoring this strange primordial urge to create things that really goes beyond individual personalities, I think, that if you don't honor it will kind of drive you crazy. We've all met people who have had that happen to them, that they can never get over the fact that they didn't find a way to integrate their creativity into their life. That is a reason to keep going no matter what. Even if it's difficult to make a life out of it, it's difficult to get respect for it, it's difficult to make your family understand it, and if there's AIs out there. The other thing is that we don't know how all of this is going to shake out. I mean, the AI questions are huge, but we just don't know how all of this is going to shake out. So just again, it's like it's not time to give up and roll over. You know, again, let me just read this here. Today we filed a class action lawsuit in U.S. federal court in San Francisco, California, on behalf of a proposed class of possibly millions of GitHub users. We are challenging the legality of GitHub Copilot. The suit has been filed against a set of defendants that includes GitHub, Microsoft, and OpenAI. Just a reminder that those are huge companies, and people are beginning to take them to task and to hold them accountable. I want to read a quote again from the opening page of those filings, which says, as far as we know, this is the first class action case in the US challenging the training and output of AI systems. It will not be the last. I agree with that. AI systems are not exempt from the law. So the world isn't giving up. The professionals aren't giving up. These things are being hashed out. Something is happening, so don't give up on your creativity. Do not give up on your creativity. Are you going to have to adapt? Most likely. You know, are you going to have to maybe make different choices about what you want your career to look like? Yeah, possibly. I mean, but people have always had to do that. We still have to do that anyway. But I don't think it's a time to give up. Marshal your inner steel. It's a time for vigor, my friend. It is going to be relevant to all of us. We're living in history. We'll see how things go. Joseph Brewer with a $10 donation. When I was a new artist, seeing my fave artist's beginning work is what helped me see that we all start somewhere and nobody just starts talented. Just a thought about seeing pro artists' old work. It does have an effect, doesn't it? It really does. Thank you so much for the $10 donation, Joseph. I really appreciate it. I'll show my old work. I'll show my old work. I just have to actually remember to go fetch it. Unfortunately, my family moved to Florida and took all of it with them. So my next chance to get it would probably be January, I want to say. I took a few things back with me when I moved, but they weren't like kid stuff. They were later stuff. They were like stuff I did in college and things like that. Would love to see Steven sit down with Stan and Marshall and discuss AI. I think that's in the cards. I think that's definitely in the cards. I'm more destination over journey. Same. Link on that news. This is the filing page for the lawsuit against GitHub on their trained AI. Links to more info are in there. I also shared it on Twitter if anyone follows me on Twitter. I don't use Twitter really. I only started using it again over the past couple months because I was using it to dig up AI info. So don't anybody feel the need to follow me over there. I don't really post art over there or anything. YouTube is definitely the place to see all my art. It basically all winds up here on the YouTube. How do you like streaming on YouTube over Twitch? I prefer YouTube just because it's where my audience is and it's where my other videos are anyway. Like I don't really feel the need to separate where my pre-recorded videos are from where my live stuff is. I like just keeping everything neat in one spot. Also, art just doesn't really, no one's really looking for art on Twitch from what I can see. Like people do look for art on YouTube, you know, they look for tutorials and art talks and things like that. But I don't think that, it's never struck me that people are looking for art on Twitch. I mean, all the art channels on Twitch get very, very low viewership and it's just not, it's not why people go there. You know, they might bump into it, but people are there for video games. And those are very different energetic domains, you know. Watching someone draw is much slower paced, much different energy than watching someone play Call of Duty. Feeling good after that news, man. Feeling pretty good after that AI news, homies. Oh yeah, great song. Won't you get in trouble with copyrights? No, I pay for this account. This is an Epidemic Sound account. It's all above board. I pay to use this on stream. Stevie Boy does it right. I like this one. Which one is it? I don't know what it is. Selena with the $10 donation. Thank you so much, Selena. Incredible. Feels lonely being an artist sometimes, and we're all behind screens. Nothing new with us introverts. But any advice on building community as an artist when you're not in uni? So I think there's a common archetypal relationship that we can see outside of art where extroverts need to shepherd introverts to events. If you're an introvert, I bet all of the introverts in this chat, you've got that friend who's an extrovert and you love them because they drag you kicking and screaming into two things that you are happy you went to once you're there, even though they give you tons of anxiety before you go. I think that it's a good thing for an artist in that situation to learn the lessons from those extroverts and just put on a mask and pretend that you're that for a little bit. And be the extrovert, the fake extrovert. It's okay to pretend in this case. Be the fake extrovert who herds and shepherds all of your introvert artist friends to events and to do things. Or be the one who starts a weekly drink and draw or a bi-weekly drink and draw at a local bar or pub or something like that. Or a urban sketching thing, start it with a few people, put it out there online. It's like every 2 weeks we meet at this bridge or this park, different place every week, and we just draw there and hang out and have snacks. That, if you can bring yourself to do that, the people who do that usually garner great rewards. I mean, everybody appreciates them for actually doing it, for putting in the effort, for getting everybody out. You make tons of friends, you draw while you do it, you have a lot of fun. I've seen that work for people a lot. That's what I would recommend. Theodora with the 100 SEK donation. Thank you so much. Need to get YouTube to notify me when you do live streams because it is so nice to work with you guys. The chat really makes it pleasant, don't they? Thank you so much, Theodora. You're amazing. I really appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who's here. Happy first class action lawsuit brought against AI companies for how they train and output their data sets day. Happy that day. Thank you so much, Theodora. We're all in it together, fam. Things are gonna happen. Things are gonna happen. You know, we're very lucky we all have each other. We're very lucky that all of us have a moment to stop and think about art and to do art. I appreciate you all being here. I hope you all appreciate each other. Should I just leave the, for new people who come in, should I just leave the, should I just leave this open right here, just over my head? That way everybody knows what we're talking about. Go to that site if you want to learn more, man. I wanted to wear my sunglasses, but I couldn't find them. I could only find my old ones. Can I paint like this? I don't know why this makes me feel like I'm partying more. This just makes me feel more like it's a party. I don't know what else to say. All right, let's destroy the values on my painting because I'm painting with sunglasses on. God, I love it. I don't know what else this is gonna play. You know, I always loved disco music when I was a kid. My parents were disco fans. You know, I'm gonna ruin the values in my painting, but it's actually pretty easy on the eyes. Staring at the screen with the sunglasses on, it's actually kind of makes my eyes feel less strained than they usually do. Have you ever tried doing art in VR? Yes, I have. It's a lot of fun, actually. I have a, I got a VR headset. Well, my wife got it for me. I got a VR headset because I wanted to use Gravity Sketch and Adobe Medium and things like that for sculpting in VR. You know, it's a little rough around the edges these days, but I think considering how early on it is, it's actually a great experience. It's super fun. I've used it as part of my process for a couple of pencil drawings. The main one being a ball and a start. Let me see if I have that stuff still. Let me search it on my other monitor. No, that's not what I want to. See if I still have the project files for ball and a start. It's probably my sketchbook files. Too bad there's about a metric ton of files in my sketchbook folder. God, I'm the worst. I'm so bad at organizing. What do you guys think of this pumpkin head? That's from Halloween a couple years ago. Yo, it's got to be in here somewhere. Where would I put it? I'm trying to show you guys the screenshot of the VR sculpture I did for ball and a start. This is the drawing I'm talking about. There was a step in the process for this one where I did a VR sculpture and gravity sketch to try to get info for it. But I don't remember where I would have put the file. I should have saved the process steps. I'll dig it up some other time. It was in February? Oh, that's right. Well, no, but my sketchbook folder doesn't date correctly, unfortunately. If I go to date added, no, let's go to date created. No, it's not there in my sketchbook folder. That means it's somewhere else, but I just don't remember where when I was doing my organization, I don't remember where I was putting the files for that. Truly a beautiful day. Yeah. Surfaces a little. I checked the article. It doesn't see how this will affect AI directly, though. The Stability AI training model doesn't use GitHub repo to train or no. No, it doesn't, but there's no case law for these things. All of these discussions are going to inform each other. It's going to show how the arguments get framed, how courts feel about things, because it's still similar questions about data acquisition, what's ethical, how licenses work, what it means that people never, when they shared their things on particular platforms, they never thought that this was on the table to happen to it. Like, is it direct? No, the only thing that's going to be direct is an art-focused suit, which, you know, seems inevitable considering how many eyes are on these things. But the overall vibe and the future of litigating AI questions it's undoubtedly going to be relevant. Undoubtedly. It's just baby steps. Like they say, as far as they know, let me read the quote again so I don't misquote. As far as we know, this is the first class action case in the US challenging the training and output of AI systems. It will not be the last. AI systems are not exempt from the law. I agree with that. I'm pretty sure that's what humans do when they imagine things. We mash together our own visual data of the world and art we have seen. AIs are not learning the way humans do, and they don't interact with images and data the way that humans do. Humans influence and mitigate their data intake based on a huge variety of things. Emotionality, biological things, your mood, not just images that you see, but literally every flickering moment-to-moment sight that you see through your eyeballs. You don't even view images the same way based on how you're feeling that day. You could look at a painting 1,000 times and it'll land completely flat on you, and then you'll see it the 1,001th time and it'll be your favorite painting ever. AIs do not do that. They are dumb. They're also not learning in any way that we recognize as learning. You don't think consciousness has anything to do with learning? You think that that's an epiphenomenon in there and that it just doesn't plug into the equation? I have a little bit of trouble believing that. But when these things learn, they get stuck. They just intake things perfectly, absorb the whole thing, no mitigation, nothing like that. It just all gets put in, analyzed pixel for pixel, latent space is created, and then the latent space is locked. It just stays. Is that how you learn? You just go through one tremendous learning sequence and then you're done? You don't constantly modify everything that you've learned. You don't run it through new filters. You don't experience things in new ways. Ideas don't land different day to day. Of course they do. That's not how AIs work. They learn, which is, again, those terms are very, very strange to use. They're not learning in the way that a lot of us would consider learning to be. There's nothing there. There's nothing behind the eyes. And then they stay trapped in stasis in that state. They can't be modified. They don't take in new input. It's not the same. That's a huge generalization. It just doesn't fit. And AI experts don't think that they learn the way that humans learn. It's a database. Humans are not databases. Even if we are deterministic systems in the end, physically speaking, it's a huge generalization, even then, to say that they're learning the same way that humans learn. Azath Popolus says, thank you, with the $10 donation. Thank you for taking such a strong position on image AIs. I was completely dejected by the wide acceptance of it from the art community. Me too, man. My hope is being renewed that the tides are turning in our favor. I don't think it's time to give up. Not at all. We love art. Take care of it. Defend it. The community of artists is one of the most important things that humanity has ever come up with. I mean, this is not some rote job, you know? This is one of the aspirational things that we love. It's something that people have returned to over and over and over again all throughout history to enliven them and to lift their spirits and to find something that transcends the moment-to-moment Monday morning mediocrity of life. It's not a thing to give up lightly. To do so seems crazy. If there's anything worth fighting for, it's this. What are your opinions on artists who use AI for their art? I personally have no problem with any particular end user. To me, this is clearly a systemic problem, and I'm putting my energies into facing it systemically, and I care about the systemic parts. I haven't wasted a moment of energy fixating on or looking at AI art or an individual case of AI art or an AI artist who's using AIs. Like the stuff that hits the news that is like, you know, people doing outright plagiarism and things like that. It's like, yeah, that sucks. There's always bad things like that. But I personally have no problems with any particular end user. It's a systemic issue. Particular end users are just responding to the incentives and to the stuff that's out there in the world. It's like, that's life. And it's, what are you gonna do? What's getting angry at a particular end user gonna do? That's not gonna do anything. How long have we been in the world? We know where these fights matter, on the systemic end. I'm looking at these things as large systems, on how the companies that stand to gain everything from these things are going to leverage their power to let them get away with whatever they want. That's what matters. Sam Lamb says, Steven Zapata art, I don't care. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Chat's going too fast. I don't care what brushes you're using, but how important are those sunglasses to your ability to render? I'm gonna tell you what, Sam. I put these on because I'm vibing, and I love the news that came out today. And I'm painting with them, which is going to ruin the values of my painting. Surprisingly, you know, it's kind of like you're painting through a filter. Like all of the relative values remain. What's lighter is still lighter. It kind of changes the contrast a little bit. But I'll tell you what, it does reduce the screen glare. I've never tried it before, so I'd never noticed it, but like, it is a lot easier on the eyes to paint with sunglasses on. Hey Evan, how you doing? Sorry guys, always got to concentrate for a second for a hand. Always got to take a second per hand, especially when you're doing it straight to value shapes and color with no reference. Got to just take a minute, concentrate. Got to make sure to get some indication of some monstrous texture on here. Cad says, yo, Draftsman mentioned they should have you on their podcast. I imagine you and Marshall could talk for like 3 hours. Yeah, Marshall and I have always had a good conversation whenever we've talked. Yeah, that's in the cards. I think we'll definitely wind up talking with a lot of people about these things as the story continues. It'll probably be a bit, though, because, well, if we did Draftsman takes a long time to set up because they film on set and things like that, and they release it in seasons, so I think if they did want to talk on Draftsman, it might be a while before you guys could hear it. I think if we do a more up-to-date conversation, maybe we just do that on Proco. Let it be up-to-date. Hey, Steven, I'm interested in taking your Form for Imagination course in January of 2023. Will it still be available at that time? Yep. It is going on sale at the end of this month, though. Just so you know. Wait, I need to add that to this. Give me a second here. You might want to take that into consideration. Let me put that in my navigator. Can you still read that? Whoops. Give me that, just give me the thing I clicked on. There we go. But it'll still be around in January. You take it whenever you want. I have no plans of making it unavailable or anything like that. But just in case you're trying to nab it on sale, it is going on sale at the end of this month. I plan to spend much of December with giant cups of hot chocolate doing feedback. Hold on, I gotta check my values. Yeah, that's still acceptable. What a great day. What a great day. I see you all fighting in the chat. This is not a day for fighting. This is a day for celebrating. This is a day for celebrating. I don't like that vibe. There's plenty of time for fighting later. The world seems to find infinite time for being angry in YouTube comments and chats. Now's not the moment. Take a moment to take a deep breath and feel good. Celebrate that there's no need to roll over and die. Celebrate that everybody sees a problem with these things. That the vast majority of people hear how these things work and go, oh, what? No, you can't do that. I mean, you guys should try it. Talk to normal people about it. I have been. Normal people, old, young, everything. You tell them how it works and they're like, ah, yeah, you shouldn't do that. Everybody understands. The vast majority of people are actually quite sane on these points. All right, I gotta stick it. I always do this. I always just have so much fun rendering creepy anatomy. I never stick around on the important bits like the head. That's how our brains work? No, again, I can't believe I keep seeing that over and over again. That's just a mimetic. That's just a colloquism that's going around. It's like no one who's serious about these things on either side, no artists and no machine learning people who are serious about this actually think that these AIs work the way our brains work. It's like, I understand where you're coming from with the sort of like low-key determinism, and it's like, well, we're just a lookup table and all that. And it's like, that's a way to think of us, but no matter how deterministic you might be, it's still patently crazy to think that one of these machine learning systems is anything like the way actual human beings and human brains work. And people on the machine learning side are not saying, they agree. They're always like, yeah, this is obviously not how brains work. It's just a database. It's just a lookup table. And it can only interpolate between points within the data set within the latent space. That's not how we do. AI are sentient beings, says Shadow Wolf? No, they are not. They don't sense anything. There's nothing it's like to be stable diffusion. Let's not romanticize it here. AIs are not sentient beings. There is no general artificial intelligence with anything like consciousness that we can prove. Should I add a rim light just for fun? Hold up, do we have some AI people in the chat right now? You know, I brought a little heat down on myself. There's a few people in here who they want it. They're on the other side. They want that AI. They're gonna be around. But please, let us be compassionate. There's a reason that they're here. They want to cavort with artists. They want to be in contact with these zones of creativity. Oh, I see how I'm locked. That's not good. Well, let me, I can bake that later. Did Ahmed ever respond to my... Come on, man. The reason I don't wear those sunglasses anymore is because they're a little tight around my big ass head. So they're giving me a little bit of a headache behind my ears. Good golly God, people. Well, good golly God, gee, shucks. Are you guys still debating in there? In chat? I wish I had the energy to debate you AI people, but I love drawing so much. I can barely, unlike a lot of people, I can barely tear myself away from drawing long enough to even be toxic for a couple minutes. It's like drawing is so much more fun. Oh, good, that stayed clipped. Nice. Can anyone share the link for the article? If you could just barely read it up there, it's GitHub Copilot litigation.com. Uh-oh. Did I cut out? No, I'm still here. I fucking love drawing. I really do. I just watched your essay on AI. That was some informative. I totally have another opinion. I was on the fence about where it was, but did not have all the facts before. Thank you for that piece. My pleasure. Happy to be of service. Truly. Happy to be of service, Amber. Yeah, people as a whole have a lot of issues with all of that real data, with all of the facts. Big, big issues. I love drawing scary monsters to dance music. I really do. Hey, Steven Zapata Art, what do you think is often overlooked when designing environments? Well, Theodore, I think, well, it depends on what kinds of environments you're doing, but for my taste, it's like human scale interactivity. I think I'm biased towards that because I worked in theme parks for years, and that's like a main focus when you're doing theme park stuff. It's like, it's great if it looks cool and there's big stuff in the distance and things like that, but if it's not fun 6 feet and below, it kind of falls apart. And I've sort of dragged that taste into my taste for other kinds of environmental designs as well. It's like you really want to imagine you're there, and it's like, what is there to do? What is there to touch, manipulate, to interact with at the scale of a person? That's very interesting to hear, Evan, truly. Chat's just going so fast I can't really keep up. So I'm just, sue me, I'm drawing. Don't sue me, sue the AI, sue the AI companies, don't sue me. Dark Nebula says, I was always unwilling to upload art and now AI makes me never want to. Well, we gotta fix that. We gotta look at how to resolve that. I think we gotta get clear as a culture about what it means when we post stuff online and what our reasonable expectations for privacy and ownership actually are, because this is really begging the question. The argument that like, oh, well, once it's online, it's out there. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. People have reasonable expectations when they post things online that something's not going to be stolen or used for something that they didn't expect. Like, those are totally sane, natural, and universally shared expectations, even on the internet. It's like, it is not up for grabs just because it's out there online. And the law certainly does not agree with you. Legally speaking, the laws don't think it's just up for grabs because it's up there online. There's stuff to be resolved, but I think we're all gonna get clear on what can and can't be done with stuff that gets posted online. Spread the word today that the first lawsuit was brought because it'll make your friends feel better. It'll relieve angst. Be sure to tell your friends. I think it really does a lot for people's hearts to know that something is happening. Let them know. Tell your buds. I do not use a mouse, Mac. I use a drawing tablet. Actually, right now I'm using a screen tablet, a monitor that you draw on. But that's relatively new. I've only been using this for past 4 months or so. I've been a screenless tablet guy for years and years and years. That's always how I've preferred to work digitally. I got a screen tablet again when I launched my course because it's much easier to do things like notes and revisions because you can handwrite easier on one of these. And I just didn't want both things sitting on my desk, so now I'm just using the screen tablet. Hey Steven, is it worth investing in digital art? I'm just traditional at the moment. Would those skills be useful? Only if you're thinking of going into commercial industries, I would say. I don't think, if you're not trying to go into the commercial world, I don't think you should feel compelled to learn digital unless you're interested in it. It's a nice skill set to have for planning, you know, because it's easy to do thumbnails and modifications and things like that, but there's plenty of ways to do all of that traditional as well. If you want to go commercial, yeah, you should definitely learn it. It'll be a huge benefit. But if you're not planning on going commercial, I wouldn't worry about it. Just do what makes you happy. He needs neeps. What is commercial work? Like doing, you know, working in advertising, doing storyboards, doing concept art for video games, doing illustration work, things like that. There's about 1 billion different kinds of artistic commercial work. Helly Spoon says, "Hi Steven, I just watched the latest episode of Draftsman and Proco mentioned that they wish to have you on their next episode. Have they reached out to you?" I talked to them. I sent them a contact after that episode. We'll probably do something. I don't know if it'll be on Draftsman, because I think if they're trying to keep it current, it takes a long time to do Draftsman because they film it on set and they need to coordinate with Marshall and stuff like that. We might just do a talk to update the conversation. Like just a video, not like an official Draftsman episode. I would do either though. It's up to them. The Proco team is super busy, so I think their schedule is going to sort of force their hand on what they can do there because they're always doing about 1 million things. I'm gonna drag that rim light down to hit this arm as well. This song brings back old stream memories. Yeah. We have a good time around here. You know. Sometimes a class action law firm sues the AI guys for unethical and wrongful use of datasets. Some days are that day. How many years have you been drawing? Oh, a lot. A lot. My whole life, really, but I tend to think of it from when I remember being improvement focused. And I became improvement focused when I was like 16. So that was 16-ish years ago. Maybe a little before that. I think I became improvement focused when I was 14. I think it was 14 or 15. So I guess it would be 17 or 18 years now. Do you have a drawing playlist? These days I usually don't actually listen to music while I draw. I am on this stream because I'm so happy, but usually I don't. Usually I listen to an audiobook while I draw. If I'm not streaming, if I'm just sitting there on my own, that's what I do these days. That was weird. Right when I mentioned audiobooks, I got a push notification from Audible. Classic. Is there a link to the class action? You can read it up here. It's GitHub copilotlitigation.com. It will be the first of many. I think that's clear. Yeah. It's looking good. It's looking good. Good little sketch for the day. Spooky guy number 4,758,365. You know, we had a great time. We drew a spooky guy. Were we drawing something else when we started? No, I didn't draw that. That's old stuff. I think this is the only thing we did on stream. I already forget. We celebrated the news. We drew a spooky guy. We iterated the ritual. We danced. We cried. We sang. Did we sing? I don't think. Maybe I didn't sing on this one. But we hit all the most important points. Cracks, fractures. Got to get some of the fosses in there. I'm glad you guys were here to celebrate the news. I texted Ahmed. I was like, let's do a podcast today. He's not up. He's not awake. I'll still try to do a podcast with him, but instead of covering the news, I'll just torture him. We'll talk about he'll be like, oh my God, I want to talk about the class action. I'll be like, no, we're discussing Heidi Klum's Halloween costume. Jordan McCoy says, with the 10 A's. I don't know what the A's are. Australian dollars? Hey, Steven, thanks for fighting the good fight and arting the good art. Inspiring artists to advocate for themselves is real cool. That's the way to go. I mean, you gotta advocate for yourselves. No one else is gonna do it for artists. Stand up. Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it, Jordan. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna make some big coffee withdrawals at the barista bank with all of this donation money. I'm gonna come in with all of it in change sacks. My good friend Geraldo behind the register is gonna go, more donations from stream? And I'll be like, that's right, Geraldo. He's like, yeah, you know I hate it when you say it that way. And I'm like, shut up, Geraldo. He's like, all right, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. I've asked you to leave many, many times, and I'll be like, Geraldo, you will turn these pennies into coffee now. Sir, please leave I'm not going anywhere. And then everybody behind me online, they're like, yeah, give Steven his coffee. We love Steven. He's the best. His art streams are changing the world. What? And then Geraldo's like, oh, well, yeah, when you put it that way. How can he bite when he has no jaw? I have no mouth, but I must scream. Let me just fix this leg right quick. Break up the values a little bit more. All right. You know, there's a part missing on this guy that I can't do on YouTube. Can't do that on YouTube. All right. All right, everybody. We've been going for 2 hours here. We celebrated the news. Tell your friends so that they feel better about it and they don't feel nihilistic about what's going on in art. I'm very hungry, so I'm gonna run. And we got our sketch of a creepy guy as usual. Iterated the ritual. Iterated the ritual. What palette plugin is that? That is Coolerus 2.5, the Coolerus color wheel. Ah, the Coolerus color wheel. It's time to log off to sign off. I'll stay on for a couple minutes while I say goodbye. I gotta get a drink of water though. While I say goodbye, give me a second. Hips too narrow says mind. Oh yeah, let's call him Mind. Mind says hips too narrow. Mind likes him thick. Mind likes his zombies thick. This is a classic physique zombie, or a what's the one where they wear the board shorts? I forget. What do you think these lawsuits will result in, given the chance that artists win the cases? This is going to be extremely complicated. I think it'd be a little foolish to try to predict the results, but it's such a nuanced topic and it touches so many things, like case law, fair use, copyright, data collection, research exemptions. Like, it touches so many huge topics that I think it's going to go all over the place. It's going to be pretty wild. That's what I think. That's my personal opinion. It's been real, Steven. It's been real, Jack Foster. Is that lyrics video monetized? Hush? Did you think about that? I don't know what Hush is. I don't know what that is. Oh, you're talking to someone in the chat, I see. Goodbye, Carla. Goodbye, Zelafe. Goodbye, Hush. Goodbye, Evo Curic. Goodbye, Reaching for Divine. Goodbye, Mac Winka. Goodbye, Arenola Dominguez. Thank you for being here. I will have a great weekend. I really will. Travis Nix, goodbye. Corey Kroomknocker, goodbye. Ignas Puikis, goodbye. Steve put the Ray-Bans back on? Sure. Not drawing anymore, so. It's a good day. Good AI news day. All right, I could literally do that all day. I probably will be doing that all day. All right, everybody, take care. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I will see you all on Monday. Whatever your creative endeavors are this weekend, this Friday, I hope that they go great. Never forget that it's important to exercise your creativity. If your mom doesn't get it, if your dad doesn't get it, if your half-baked brother doesn't get it, if your foolish sister doesn't get it, that's all right. You don't need to be mean to them. You don't need to get into fights with them. Just discard them. Not discard them. Not just throw them onto the side of the street. That's cruel. But I mean, don't worry about it. Disregard them. It's all right. They don't need to get it. How much can we really expect from people? It's your little world. It's okay to do it. You should do it. You'll damage your spirit if you don't exercise your creativity. So you have to do it. It's the best thing you could do for others because it'll make you the whole you. It'll make you more peaceful, more calm, more balanced. It'll make you feel like you're in the right place at the right time. So always feel good when you draw. You should be doing it, no matter what anybody else says. It's a beautiful thing. And we're lucky that we have the time and space in this world to do it. So take advantage and enjoy every second of it. Don't cast yourself out into the future, wishing for things to be better later. Enjoy your drawing now, today, in the moment. That's what's up. All right, everybody, peace. Have a great weekend. Spread the news. Tell your friends who are feeling depressed, hey, things are happening. There's reason to be of good spirit.